Hey guys, Corell Cooper here with OnTheBlack.com with my New York Mets weekly update. So coming into the season, there were a lot of concerns about the Mets starting rotation. Now that each starter has had at least one start, let's take a look at how the Mets starting rotation is faring as a whole. They're 3-1 with 26 2/3 innings pitched and 17 earned runs. Now in 5 starts. Now out of those 17 earned runs, 8 of them belong to Oliver Perez. I would say that the two guys who have done the best so far have been Johan Santana, his start on opening day, and then Livan Hernandez. He pitched excellent tonight. So those two guys have been the best starters so far. Livan Hernandez is the only one who's pitched more than 6 innings. So we'd like to see the rotation go deeper in the ball games, give that bullpen a little bit of a break. Pelfrey, I said this in one of my previous posts, Pelfrey didn't have his best stuff on his first start, but I like the way he battled through and hung in there and gave the team a chance to win. And then John Maine last night pitched 5 innings and gave up 2 earned runs. He didn't have his best stuff either, but he looked strong. He looked strong in his first start, coming back off of off-season surgery and not having that good of a spring. So he looked good there. The one question mark and the one concern that all Mets fans have right now is Oliver Perez. He had a terrible spring, and he did not look good in his first start, giving up 8 runs. And I was a supporter of re-signing Perez over, say, a Derek Lowe, and I'm kind of rethinking that a little bit. It's only been 1 start, so let's give Perez a few more starts to see how he does. But in order for I've said it before, in order for the Mets to be successful this year, Perez has to be somewhat consistent. He can't just have good starts against the Yankees and the Phillies. He has to have good starts against the Marlins, against the Nationals. He has to play good in those games. So looking forward to seeing Oliver Perez pitch this coming week. Hopefully he can turn it around. Overall, I said coming into the season that I like the Mets starting rotation. After the first week, I still like the rotation. The only concern I have is Oliver Perez, and I hope that he can put it together and turn it around soon. So moving into our question and answer period, where you guys ask me questions and I'll do my best to try to answer them. So the first question comes from section 518, and he asks who will be the first call-up for the Mets this year and why. My thoughts on call-ups are, you normally don't really get call-ups this early in the season unless someone is really struggling or someone happens to get hurt. For, the team's sake, I hope that neither happens, but there are a few guys right now in the minors who are right on sort of the cusp of coming up should the unfortunate of, someone getting hurt or someone struggling. And one guy that comes to mind is Nelson Figueroa. He came up last year for the Mets, and he pitched pretty well for a short period of time there. And I think Figueroa has some versatility. He's a veteran. He's been around. And he can either spot start or go into the bullpen for long relief. So on the pitching end, I would say Figueroa. And, on the offensive side or on the regular players, I would say, Nick Evans. Nick Evans made the team coming out of camp, and he was recently sent down when the Mets signed Gary Sheffield. Evans can play first base and some outfield, and he'll give you a little pop off the bench. So, on that side, I would think that Nick Evans would be on the cusp should someone get hurt or do poorly. Other notables would be, of course, Jonathan Neese, Bobby Kilty, and also Argenis Reyes, who was up for the Mets last year and played second base when Castillo was hurt. So those are some other possibilities as well. But I really don't see any call-ups right now unless someone really, really struggles or someone gets hurt. The next question comes from New FJH Bears fan 23, who asks, do you think the Mets should go after Roy Halladay if Perez keeps pitching the way he is now? My short response is yes, but I don't think that the Halladay questions will or rumors will start until we get closer to the trading deadline. You know, I'm figuring that, you know, the Blue Jays are going to look to unload him once they have a clear picture that they're probably not going to compete for the division or get a playoff spot. You know, Holiday is being paid big money this year, and I believe next year as well, by the Blue Jays, and he will probably most likely be the #1 pitcher on the trading block as we get closer to you know, the trade deadline and stuff like that. But we're a little bit of ways away from that. But yes, you know, if the Mets are struggling with starting pitching, I expect you know, some of the Holiday talk to start with the Mets. And the third and final question comes from Meet the Amazins, who asks, what's my take on the second base situation? It's clear that Castillo isn't playing well, and you know, the Mets missed out on signing Orlando Hudson. Do you think there are options in our farm system, or is it we should take care of this via the trade? I would like to say, first and foremost, I was a supporter of the Mets trying to sign Orlando Hudson in the offseason. It didn't happen. The Mets clearly are showing some confidence in Luis Castillo and are going to give him every chance possible to succeed this year. You know, he's got, after this year, he's got 2 more years left on his 4-year deal with the Mets, each at $6 million a year. So even if the Mets decided to unload or trade him, they chances are would have to eat most of that contract. But you know, right now I think the Mets are going to give Castillo every opportunity to be their second baseman for the next couple years. I don't think that the Mets will look for a trade if Castillo happens to struggle this year. I think that the Mets are going to probably go with a platoon of either Fernando Tatis and Alex Cora at second base. So I don't think that the Mets will do anything via trade. And you know, outside of Argenis Reyes in the Mets minor league system, who I don't think is the long-term solution at second base, I really don't see you know, where the Mets can go else for second baseman. So if Castillo struggles, look for you know, Alex Cora and Fernando Tatis to split time at second base. So that's it for my weekly update, guys. This was the first time I did the Q&A segment. I hope to do the Q&A segment every week. Let me know if you guys like the Q&A segment. If you have questions, feel free to send them to me throughout the week. You can email them to me as well at corel.cooper@gmail.com. Talk to you guys soon.